Hello and welcome to Inside the Practice, the show where we highlight both clinical and non-clinical topics affecting today's healthcare professionals. I'm your host, Erica Tricarico. Like in human medicine, blood banks can save animal lives. During today's segment, Caitlin McCafferty, assistant editor for DVM 360, sits down with Allison Karr, a veterinary technician at NorthStar VETS in New Jersey, to discuss why and how the hospital opened its in-house blood bank. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Caitlin McCafferty, an assistant editor for DVM 360, and joining me today on this episode of Inside the Practice is Allison Karr, a veterinary technician who works at NorthStar VETS located in New Jersey. Though the practice may look like a regular veterinary clinic, what you might not know is that it has a pet blood bank for its patients, and yes, it has pet donors as well. When did NorthStar VETS open a blood bank?
Well, it kind of depends. We've been slowly working on it since 2005 when our first cat in the hospital, Rob Zombie, he was our first hospital cat. So he actually was our first blood donor. In 2011, we really started ramping the program up. So that was when we started including outside donors and actively sourcing for blood donors. And then in 2020 is when we started our exotics blood bank program. So we're always growing and changing.
You get a lot of exotics?
We've used ferrets, birds, and rabbits. So just like dogs and cats, they need blood transfusions every once in a while too.
And what is the criteria for donating?
Well, for dogs, they have to be 50 pounds, be up to date on their flea, tick, and heartworm prevention, fully vaccinated, and of course friendly. We don't want any aggressive dogs that are going to try and eat us while we're getting the donation. For cats, they have to be 10 pounds, relatively handleable. We understand cats, a lot of cats are skittish when they come to the vet, and also fully vaccinated and indoor only. For our exotics, it really varies. For birds, we look like for larger birds like chickens, so that they can lose a little bit more blood than say a parakeet can. Mm-hmm. And rabbits and ferrets are kind of on a case-by-case basis. So as people sign them up, we evaluate the pet and see if they're a good fit or not.
Okay, and I saw you offer benefits for pets that donate. What are they and what inspired you to do this?
Well, the inspiration really comes from the fact that we are so appreciative to our blood donors. We love our volunteers. We really want to give them something back because they're already giving somebody the best chance at getting their pet back. And that's a gift you can't repay. So we try in our own little way. We give yearly blood work, an exam by the doctor every time they come in to donate. So they can donate every 7 weeks. So it's quite a lot of physical exams throughout the year, searching for any lumps or bumps or issues. And then they get a bag of blood if, God forbid, your pet should ever have an accident or something that you need your pet to be an emergency donation. You get back that gift of life that you gave. And for the animals themselves, they get a bag of treats and a little toy as a thank you. So they get something fun out of it too.
Do you find it hard to find volunteers?
Honestly, no. We have a bunch of volunteers. A lot of our employees actually volunteer their pets. So all of our employees, it's practically a screening question when you're hired. Do you have a dog that's over 50 pounds? Would you be interested? But we have a lot of people who understand that unfortunately accidents happen, illnesses happen, and everybody is really great about being generous and wanting to give every pet the best chance that they can get.
Can you explain the donation process?
Absolutely. So when pets come in, they get a doctor exam right off the bat just to make sure that they're healthy, no heart murmurs, nothing's come up since last time, no new medications. They get a full weight and a temperature, respiration check and all that. So full TPR. Then we check their packed cell volume, their PCV, to make sure that they themselves are not anemic. So we want to make sure that it's as safe as possible for our donors to give that blood. Then if they need a little something to help them relax, we'll give that to them then. After that, we get them on our donation table and we clip and clean a little area of the jugular vein. So right on their neck. And once that is not sterilized, but cleaned, we insert the needle and draw the amount that we need from each pet. For dogs, it's about 450 mils. For cats, it's about 52.
And what about exotics? Is it like case by case?
Exotics is case by case because it depends on how large the animal is versus how much we can take. So we never want to exsanguinate an animal.
Yeah. Oh no. And can you share one or two brief blood donor success stories?
Absolutely. I was gonna say we actually had one recently that I love. It was a cat, Patch, who was brought in for lethargy and low appetite, and he had anemia and a mild elevation of his white cell count, but he dropped to about 12%. Now normal is around like 30 to 40%, ideally closer to the 45, 50. So he was really low, and the blood transfusion actually saved his life and brought him back up to 20%, good enough for him to finish recovering at home. Mm-hmm. One that was really special to me was, it was my dog's first donation. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she's a donor here. And I loved it because I actually got to not only watch her give blood, but then I got to go and see the dog whose life she saved. And it's really great to see them come in and they're low, they're dragging, they're barely responsive. And then to watch them walk out tail wagging, it's an incredible feeling, to know that your pet helped make that happen. Did you know that dogs and cats have different blood types?
Mm-mm. I did not.
So dogs can be either positive or negative, and cats are either type A or type B. Oh. Dog blood can't be given to cats. And you should always cross match to make sure that your donors are good. So you should always blood type your animal and cross match to make sure that the donor and the recipient are compatible before you give blood. So
and, do exotics, is that the same thing too? Like, do they have different types?
Exotics, unfortunately, we don't know. We are still, like I said, learning the blood transfusion process, and exotics is fairly new. So it's kind of a learning process.
Do you do this every day? The donation?
I do this once a week, every Wednesday. We have our donors come in. I have around 7 to 8 donors on average every day. Or not every Wednesday, I have 7 to 8 donors. We have more dogs than cats. We have about 75 dogs in the program and about 20 cats in the program.
Okay. So, and if you need blood, do you call them?
We call them to set up appointments for bleeding. The blood is stored in our fridge. Dog blood is good for up to 6 weeks. Cat blood is good for up to 5 weeks. I was going to say, and that's packed cells. So what we do is we actually separate out, we spin it down in a centrifuge that's refrigerated. And we separate out the plasma from the packed cells, because if you have dogs with things like heart conditions, you can fluid overload them on blood just as easily as you can, LRS or Normar or any of your other crystalloids or colloids or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So you can fluid overload them just as easily. And so the packed cells get you a higher percentage of red cells with less volume to the blood. So it'll raise the PCV without raising all of your fluids.
Mm-hmm. Does that process take long?
It takes about 20 minutes per bag of blood. So we spin it down in the centrifuge and we separate out the plasma. It goes in, it's a closed 3-bag system. Mm-hmm. So the plasma separates out and goes into one bag, and then we clamp it off, and then we use a preservative to make sure that the blood will last or the packed cells will last for the 6 weeks. So then we crack open the second bag, pour the preservative in, and then clamp off that bag with the packed cells, and then separate all the bags.
Do you do this like day of? So Wednesdays, do you take the blood and then do you?
Yep. Do this process? Everything has to be done that same day, or else it's no longer fresh whole blood or fresh packed cells or anything like that. The exotics blood program is fairly new. So we're still learning a lot about the field of exotics in general. Mm-hmm. So there aren't hard, set and fast rules for what can donate, what not. It's really a doctor discretion type thing. But we are NorthStar VETS, and we are leading the way in that cutting edge kind of technology. So I'm really proud of us and our whole team for what we're able to do and what we're able to achieve for our pets.
Thanks for watching Inside the Practice. I'm Erica Tricarico. See you next time.